Coast Conference Championship. BYU is 26-6 currently on the season, being joined by head coach Jeff Judkins. Please, an opening statement.
Thank you. This is tough. It's tough to come in here and talk. You feel that your team didn't play their best. You have to give Gonzaga a lot of credit for that. They came out and really went there for about 7-8 minutes where we just didn't handle it very well, and that was the difference of the game. We cut it down to 10. We had flashes of playing like we've been playing this whole season, and basketball ahead of us this year, and we'll learn and be able to improve as a team and be able to do a lot better job. I'm very proud of Jen. I think she's had a great year. There's not very many players that can do what we wouldn't be 26-6 without her, for sure. I think she had a great tournament. We wish we could have guarded the ball more. I think we could have done that. We would have been a lot better off.
Coach, thank you for Coach Judkins, or for Jennifer. If you have a question, please raise your hand. We'll get a microphone to you.
Coach, do you think you've done enough to deserve a bid to the NCAA tournament?
Hard schedule. As he mentioned, we're 26-6. When you have 5 teams in the top 100 RPI, which hasn't been done in this conference for a long time, I've been a lot better. I'd be feeling a lot better if I was Kelly Graves right now, knowing I'm in for shots. And hopefully, if we do, we want to make this conference proud and this university. So I hope that happens.
Jeff, Kelly had said the other day that they just planned, you get it out to the early lead, and then what did they try and stop, especially on trying to control Jen a little bit inside?
Really singly, and you saw the first of the game, she scored, I think, our first 6 or 8 points. And then what happened, they came in and they couldn't get the ball to her. She was open, but we couldn't get it to her because of the pressure. Instead of make the first pass, we should have passed it a couple times, and we did a lot better the second half where we moved it. And then that spurt, they hit 2 threes right before half. I think that was a big duck. And then right before half, they go on a 10-0 run, and then they get ahead of you, and then you got to play catch-up ball. You can't have one of your best players go 2 for 18. That doesn't help, but you got to give them credit. They really put the ball more to Jen when we had that mismatch. And Kelly has a lot of bigs. He's got a lot of depth in that position, and I don't know if that affected us, but every time I pulled Jen out, he pulled somebody else out of that game.
Other questions for BYU?
Jen, in that first half where they went on that run, so without a field goal, what was the how much of that was due to the Gonzaga defense, and how much was it just?
Which is which, but it's definitely a combination of both. They picked up their defense, and we kind of lacked a little bit on our offense, get into our offenses easily, and so we were lacking on the field goals there.
You mentioned the other day or yesterday that did you talk about was there anything surprising in the way that they coached or the way that they played today, or was it exactly what you expected?
Played us like they did up in Gonzaga. They pressured every catch, bust through them, and they tried to push Jen off the block the best they could. A lot of pick, a lot of high-low action. Try to get us where we had to. Saw Sonny hit a couple jumpers tonight. Pick and rolls popping, and we had to kind of play it tonight. The other night against us in Provo, she missed them, and sometimes it kind of goes that way. And what happened to us today was in that small minute part, we kind of got on our heel like we should. And what I mean by attacking is get the ball into Jen, get the ball in better spots where we could score. If it called tighter, it might have been a different situation. But, we had a good officiated game, and I think that's what we want to play.
Coach, team that has just lost the championship going into the locker room, they're tired, they can hear the awards ceremony. What?
Tell them that they are a good team, like you said, and tell them that, we need to learn from this. Opportunity comes. I tell them all the time, when opportunities come, you take it. And I think they feel bad that they let this. We're going to bounce back. This team's done that all year. We've lost a game, and we've come back and played some of our best. Night we'll get a good selection we'll be ready to go, and hopefully forget this. Quite a while ago with Utah as assistant coach, and we went to the Final Four, the championship game. We lost in the tournament game, and we'll get better.
If you could make a pitch to the NCAA tournament committee, what would you say about this team, about this season?
Our record is pretty good, and we've worked hard for this. I know our teammates, and we've played hard, and then we've beaten them. We're, just gotta let us play.
Obviously didn't have one of her better games tonight, but she's been real good for 3 years for Gonzaga. Could you just talk a little bit about what you think of her game, the way she?
It'll be nice. She's the heart and soul of that team. Everybody's for her, and she's the one that sets the tone, both offensively and defensively. You can tell she's, the girls respect her, and she's a competitor. She didn't have one of her best games tonight. A lot of reasons. We tried to stop, kind of hurt us tonight. But she's a great player, and she has all and handle the ball, rebound, run the floor. She's a really good player, and they still won. So balance is what wins games. People, I think, but she's a great player.
Got time for one more if there's another one?
Friday, 19 yesterday, 21 again today, especially in the first half. What can you do going forward for your team to control losing the ball so much?
Well, I think there's a lot of reasons that cause turnovers. A very inexperienced right now little point guard who didn't play a lot last year. She played behind a really good player and trying to take her away from her game. And I thought she did a great job of, do a better job of getting the ball in spots where we don't get those turnovers. And then second, them in better positions of not turnover. That like the press today, last time we played them, and this time we just seemed a little too tentative. But we got to cut those down. How do you do it? You take them in practice and you turn it over, and you maybe I make them run some laps and make them realize that we don't. But we got to do better than that.
BYU, congrats on a great season so far. Good luck next week.
Thanks a lot, Jeff. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
14 West Coast Conference champion Gonzaga Bulldogs, head coach Kelly Graves, tournament most outstanding player Sunday. Coach, congratulations. Your thoughts on the win?
Well, thanks, Jeff. Well, first of all, I'll tell you, they're tremendous. Great program. They're going to do wonderful things in the NCAA tournament here in a week or so. Every time we play them, I think they bring out the best in us. And I'm love the fact that they've joined our achieve even a better program. We need to stay up with them. So And with all due respect to Jennifer Hampson, you know, I'm really glad to see her go. She is a heck of a basketball player, and today we played about as hard as we can possibly play. And for good stretches of the game, I thought we played as I just thought defensively we did a lot of great things and kind of turned the game. And anyway, happy to be playing one other day.
We'll take questions. You can direct questions as student athletes to you. Start over here with Amanda, please.
Sunny, you looked a little surprised in your mind when you were named Most Outstanding Player.
Yeah, I was really surprised. I did not expect it at all. I got really excited.
Starting with Jasmine, how much of your good defense?
Who's the question for?
Oh, I'm sorry. God, somebody talk.
Okay. I think our defense definitely relies on our coaching staff. We do a great. I give props to our scouting report for sure, and then hustle.
Guess she's going to play next game. Be nice to the coach.
Defense. Yeah, I mean, but no, yeah, like Kiani said, we a lot of it goes into the scouting report, and we actually didn't have time. You know, they run a lot of staggers, and Hampson was obviously a focus, and I think we did today, and I think that was the difference. We were winning the 50-50s.
Amanda?
One of the hardest working teams he'd ever coached. Can you talk about how proud you are of your team for this win and just the season that you've had?
I think we're definitely this game. We wanted it, and you can see it in everyone's eyes. You can see it in our warm-ups, our locker room pump-up songs and stuff. So we have as our goals that we set at the beginning of the year. So we got to check that off of our list, which we're really proud of. So.
And all year, the second, you know, you guys get to jump up and down and celebrate that win. What's that like for you, just knowing all the hard work you put in?
Yeah, I mean, this was my first time winning. To do it with these girls, I mean, we're all like sisters, and we all get along so well. So it was great to do it with them, and it's all pretty cool. It was a great experience.
I'll take questions for student athletes or Coach Graves at this time.
Sonny, what changed that around for you guys?
Yeah, this is always a big challenge when make the other players outside a non-factor too. So if they just go over Hampson, they pressure outside that they can't do the easy lobs and easy passes. And she had a great game.
Anything else for the Bulldogs? Bud?
Actually stepping it up kind of midway through the first half there.
Yeah, well, the one thing we did, you know, the one thing about BYU, the basketball team, once they get it rolling and they're, you know, they can run their sets, they're very difficult to defend. Shooter. So it was obvious she was, you know, that was going to be a focus. And so then we changed the way we worked, tried to put some pressure on them so that they either, number one, didn't have a lot of time to run offense or a lot of pressure and maybe get some turnovers. And I think we did a really good job once we got into that three-quarter court pressure. I thought they started to scramble 30 feet or 25 feet instead of 15 feet, and we were able to tip some, steal some, and I up our pressure a little bit. And they're not a great team against pressure, and there for a while I thought that really showed. We had to change the style of the game. It was not going well early.
2 for 12, then got kind of a slow start to this game. What changed for you just to get going?
The first couple of shots, just like mentally, we're confident, and just to have my team like behind me and my coaches and telling me that I shoot and still can do it, and then never give up really.
Anything else?